How did a young peasant boy from a small village in Hunan province become the most powerful man in China? This is the story of Mao Zedong, a man whose life was as complex as the nation he would come to lead. Born in December of 1893, Mao was the son of a well-off farmer in Shaoshan, Hunan province. His early years were marked by a traditional education, grounded in Confucian principles. However, a rebellious spirit emerged in him during his teenage years. Mao refused an arranged marriage and left home, setting the stage for the revolutionary path that lay ahead. In the city of Changsha, Mao delved into the world of radical politics. The books he read, the ideas he encountered, they all led him to question the status quo. His interest in the plight of the working class, the peasantry, and the inequality they faced grew. He was deeply moved by the Revolution of 1911, a movement that overthrew China's last imperial dynasty. This event, among others, shaped Mao's political consciousness, and his belief in the power of revolution was born. In the early 20s, Mao's path intersected with the nascent Chinese Communist Party. He was one of its earliest members, and his rise within the party was rapid. His charisma, his ability to connect with the masses, and his unwavering belief in the power of the proletariat set him apart. Mao's vision of a communist China, a nation free from oppression and inequality, resonated with many, and he quickly ascended to a leadership position. Yet this rise was not without challenges. Mao faced opposition, both from within the party and from outside forces, but he remained steadfast. He navigated the complexities of political power with a deftness that would become his trademark, never losing sight of his revolutionary ideals. His journey towards leadership was marked by an unwavering belief in the power of the masses and the transformational potential of revolution. This was the foundation upon which Mao Zedong, the future chairman of the People's Republic of China, built his life and legacy. Imagine a new China, one that is free from foreign domination and united under a single party. This was Mao's dream. Mao's rise to power was marked by a tumultuous period in China's history, known as the Chinese Civil War. This war, which spanned from 1927 to 1949, was a conflict between the Kuomintang, the ruling party of the Republic of China, and the Communist Party of China, led by Mao. This civil war resulted in a seismic shift in the political landscape of China, setting the stage for a new era. During the war, Mao emerged as a skilled strategist and a charismatic leader. He rallied his troops with the promise of a new China, one that was free of foreign domination and united under a single party. His message resonated with the masses, who were tired of internal strife and foreign interference. The war ended with a decisive victory for the Communist Party. On October 1st, 1949, Mao stood atop the gate of heavenly peace in Beijing and declared the founding of the People's Republic of China. He proclaimed a new China, one that was free from the shackles of imperialism and feudalism. Under Mao's leadership, the People's Republic of China embarked on a journey of radical transformation. The feudal system was abolished, land was redistributed to peasants, and industry and commerce were nationalized. The country was reorganized along socialist lines, with the Communist Party at the helm. However, this new era was not without its challenges. The transition from a feudal society to a socialist one was fraught with difficulties. The country faced economic hardships, social upheaval, and political purges. Despite these challenges, Mao remained resolute in his vision of a new China. And so, the People's Republic of China was born, with Mao at its helm. His leadership would shape the course of China's history and leave an indelible mark on its people. His dream of a united and independent China was realized, but at a considerable cost. The story of Mao's China is one of transformation, struggle, and resilience. It is a testament to the power of a dream and the determination to see it come to fruition. What happens when a dream becomes a nightmare? This was the great leap forward. In 1958, Mao Zedong, the then leader of the People's Republic of China, launched an ambitious plan to transform China into a global industrial powerhouse. He called it the Great Leap Forward. a name that promised progress and prosperity. Mao's vision was to leapfrog the Western powers by mobilizing China's vast population into an industrial army. The countryside was to be industrialized. Small-scale backyard industries sprouted up across the nation, with families melting down their pots and pans to produce steel in makeshift furnaces. Meanwhile, large-scale collective farming was introduced, aiming to boost agricultural output to unprecedented levels. However, the reality of the Great Leap Forward was far from its lofty ideals. The steel produced in backyard furnaces was of poor quality and often useless. The collectivization of agriculture disrupted traditional farming practices, leading to widespread crop failures. And then, the weather turned. In 1959, China was hit by the worst drought in 100 years, followed by severe floods. The combination of mismanagement, radical changes, and natural disasters led to what is now known as the Great Chinese Famine. The human cost of the Great Leap Forward was staggering. It's estimated that anywhere between 15 to 45 million people died during this period, either from starvation or from the brutal enforcement of Mao's policies. The Chinese countryside was devastated, and the dream of rapid industrialization turned into a nightmare. In the wake of the Great Leap Forward, China was left reeling. The country's economy was in ruins, and its people were demoralized and hungry. Mao's dream had turned into one of the deadliest man-made disasters of the 20th century, a catastrophe that would leave deep scars on the Chinese nation. The Great Leap Forward was a catastrophic experiment that left millions dead and a country in shambles. It was a harsh reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the devastating human cost of misguided policies. In the name of preserving true communist ideology, Mao launched the Cultural Revolution. This was an event of seismic proportions, a decade-long upheaval that would reshape China's societal landscape and cause political turmoil on a grand scale. The seeds of the Cultural Revolution were sown in 1966. Mao, concerned that the Communist Party was straying from its ideological path, called upon the nation's youth to purge the impure elements of Chinese society and revive the revolutionary spirit. This call to arms birthed the Red Guards, a paramilitary social movement composed mostly of students. The Red Guards were given carte blanche to root out capitalist roaders, a term used to demonize those perceived as enemies of the revolution. Their actions were often violent and brutal, echoing the fervor of their mandate. Schools were shut down, historical relics and artifacts were destroyed, and intellectuals were publicly humiliated, sent to labor camps, or worse, killed. The very fabric of Chinese society was torn apart and replaced with a culture of revolutionary fanaticism. This period was not just characterized by societal transformation, but also by political chaos. Mao used the Cultural Revolution as a tool to reassert his authority over the Chinese government, purging those he saw as threats to his rule. The resulting power struggles within the Communist Party added another layer of instability to an already tumultuous era. The Cultural Revolution came to an end in 1976 with Mao's death, but its effects were far from ephemeral. The damage to China's cultural heritage was immense, and the persecution of intellectuals had a lasting impact on the nation's educational and scientific sectors. The Cultural Revolution was a time of upheaval and change, a period when traditional norms and structures were challenged and often violently overturned. It was a decade that saw the power of ideology unleashed in its rawest form, leaving a mark on the country that can still be seen today. The Cultural Revolution was a decade of chaos and violence that left deep scars on China's society and culture. When Mao died in 1976, he left behind a China that was vastly different from the one he had inherited. The death of Chairman Mao Zedong marked the end of an era, one characterized by radical transformation, upheaval, and a relentless pursuit of a communist utopia. Mao's passing triggered a power struggle within the Chinese Communist Party, as different factions vied for control. His immediate successor, Hua Guofeng, struggled to assert his authority, leading to the rise of Deng Xiaoping, a pragmatic leader who would usher China into an era of reform and opening up. This new epoch was a significant departure from Mao's policies. It was a shift towards economic liberalization and a more open relationship with the outside world. But it was also a time of reckoning, a period when China began to grapple with the consequences of Mao's rule. Reflecting on Mao's legacy, it's clear that his impact on China's society, economy, and politics was profound. He was instrumental in establishing the People's Republic of China, transforming a war-torn nation into a unified entity. His policies, while often controversial, brought about significant changes in the fabric of Chinese society. Land reform, mass literacy campaigns, and the promotion of gender equality were some of the positive outcomes of Mao's rule. However, his tenure was also marred by massive human rights abuses, economic turmoil, and political purges, particularly during the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution. These events left an indelible mark on China, shaping the nation's trajectory in the years that followed. Even today, Mao's influence can be felt in China's political structure, its approach to governance, and its national identity. To some, Mao is a revolutionary hero, a man who devoted his life to the cause of the Chinese people. To others, he is a controversial figure, a leader whose radical policies led to widespread suffering and loss. Mao Zedong, a man of contradictions, was both a revolutionary hero and a controversial leader. His legacy continues to shape China, for better or worse. His death marked the end of an era, but his influence continues to reverberate through the annals of Chinese history. From a peasant boy to the leader of a nation, Mao Zedong's life was a journey of ambition, power, and revolution. His story is a tapestry of triumphs and trials, founding the People's Republic of China, spearheading the Great Leap Forward, and igniting the Cultural Revolution. Yet his legacy remains as complex as the man himself, shaping China's society and politics in ways that still reverberate today. Mao's story is a testament to the power of a single individual to shape the course of a nation's history. But was it for the better or for the worse? That is for you to decide.